What's up, guys? So WWDC kicked off this morning with the keynote, and Apple released a bunch of software. We saw an update from tvOS, macOS, that is right, macOS, iOS, and watchOS. It has been a crazy day, so let's get into it. So let's start off with watchOS. The Apple Watch came out a little bit more than a year ago, and we're already seeing the third major software update for it. So, with watchOS 3, Apple is tackling one of the biggest problems that users have had with the Apple Watch, and that is application loading time. Apps take forever to load on the Apple Watch. I've seen it firsthand. It is terrible. One of the main reasons I did not get it for the first version. And it seems like Apple is fixing it with watchOS 3. So just like the iPhone, the watch is able to figure out what apps you use the most and update those apps in the background so when you go to launch it, it is ready for you. Another update is the whole Friends button at the bottom that I don't think many people ever used is now changed into something called the dock. So the dock is kind of like Glances. It'll show your recent apps you use, and you can pin apps there as well, and it gives you a glance of what's going on in that app, and you can also launch it, so it's a quick way to get into those apps that you use the most. Apple is also adding a bunch of new watch faces, but they are not open to third party yet. We are seeing Minnie Mouse being added next to Mickey Mouse, and Apple's also finding a way to add the activity bar into a lot of new watch faces. With these new watch faces, you are able to switch between watch faces easily for the people who like changing it depending on where they're going. If they're coming from work, going home, you can easily now just change your watch face by swiping from each side of the screen, swiping over, and that will change your watch face. The activity app is also getting updated, and you're now able to see friends and family and what their activities are like, so it's kind of like friendly competition. The fitness app is also getting updated for people in wheelchairs. They will be able to do exercises. 3 new exercises are being added for people in wheelchairs, and the way that activity is tracked will be different for them. There's also a new breathe exercise, I guess, that if you want to practice breathing, want to calm down. One feature that stood out to me a lot, and I like it a lot, you shouldn't have to use this often, but if you ever need to use it, it is there. It is called SOS. So the exact same way that you turn off your Apple Watch by holding down that Friends, which is now the dock button, if you hold down the dock button, 3 sliders will come up. One that says, just turn off Apple Watch. Not sure what the middle one says, but the bottom one will then say SOS. If you were to flick that, it will call an emergency service around you. Let's say you're having an allergic reaction, and it will call the emergency service that is around you. For if you're in America, it's 911. Also on the Apple Watch, it will launch your medical ID, so when people get to you, they will know that you're allergic to nuts or you're diabetic, things like that. Next is macOS. Apple has actually updated the name of macOS. It was originally OS X. We've had that name for about 15 plus years, and there's sort of an issue. We had iOS, tvOS, watchOS, and OS X. So Apple has now switched that and it's now macOS. And the macOS that we have now is macOS Sierra. So in macOS Sierra, we are finally getting Siri. Yeah! A lot of people have been waiting for this for the longest time, and we finally have it. You are able to activate Siri from either the dock or the menu bar. It will come up near the notification center, and you can use Siri to find files on your computer. You can also refine that search to ask, just find files that were from this person. You are able to do things like ask for sports scores. You can also pin those sports scores to your notification center, just like a widget. And you are able to search images. For example, you can search images of a lake, and you can take that image from Siri and drag it into another app, for example, Keynote. And of course, you can use Siri any other way, just like on an iPhone. You can say, message someone. And Siri is also updated on the Mac and the iPhone, so it's easier to understand what you want out of it. You don't have to ask it one certain way. Siri will understand in those other ways. Apple Pay is here on the Mac. That is right. We can use Apple Pay on the Mac through your iPhone. So a lot of companies are committing to this, that they will be adding Apple Pay in the next couple of months to their websites. So when you have your Mac and you're on macOS Sierra, if you're, let's say, searching for shoes on Nike, what do people do when they buy shoes? Different topic. You're buying, what do people buy online? What do I buy? You're on Amazon, you find something. Let's say I'm looking at a camera right now. You have a camera that you want to buy. So you're on Amazon, you find the camera that you want, you add it to your cart, you then click buy with Apple Pay. On your phone will pop up that exact order, and you're able to pay with your fingerprint. It is that simple. That also works with the Apple Watch when you type in your password and you're wearing it. In macOS Sierra, you're able to bypass your password. You do not need to use it all. Let's say you're wearing an Apple Watch and you walk up to your computer. You open the lid, and it will notice that you're near the computer with your Apple Watch, and that will log in for you. Another really, really cool thing that Apple has added is Universal Clipboard. Now, Clipboard is when you copy an item from, let's say, a website, and you go to paste it somewhere else. It is added to your clipboard. So let's say you copy something from a website that you see on your iPhone, and you're also doing a project on your computer. You're then able to just copy it from that website, move over to your computer, and paste it. It's just magic. iCloud Drive is also updating for people who use more than one Mac and it's signed in the exact same iCloud Drive. If you add a document to a folder, that will then add to that folder on the other computer. Apple is also making it easier to use any other app on the Mac. You're able to add tabs just like Safari in apps like Maps, and they are also opening this up as an open API where any application will be able to do this directly out of the box. Developers have to do nothing for it. Just like the iPad where you are watching a video, you're able to shrink that video and put it down on the bottom. That is called picture-in-picture. That is being added to the Mac. So you're watching a YouTube video and you're also doing a project. You can shrink that YouTube video, go to your project in full screen, and it just works seamlessly. And lastly, Apple is making it easier to free up space. Let's say you have movies on your computer that you haven't watched in ages, you have pictures, and you have documents that you haven't opened in forever. Those will then move to iCloud storage, and that will free up space on your computer. The only downside is iCloud is not up all the time. Sometimes iCloud crashes, so I don't know how Apple's going to go around that. Let's say iCloud is down, you want to see that video, it's just stuck in iCloud space. And last is iOS. We finally got a major update in iOS. This is iOS 10. Apple's calling it the biggest iOS update in the history of iOS, which I guess could be true. So one thing that Apple really changed, I think, is the messaging app. The messaging app is really cool. So when you want to go send a link or a location to your friend, it would just send as the link that they'd have to go to. Now it's more of, it'll show a preview of that link. It will then show you what the link's about and part of that link. You're able to send your messages with emotions. So if you're saying thank you and you really want to put an expression on it, you can have the thank you bounce at the person when they send it. You can also send animations. So let's say you say happy birthday to someone. You can send that and balloons will then go up on the whole screen. And that's cool, I guess. I mean, invisible ink is a new thing too. You're able to, let's say you're sending a secret or something like that, something you don't want other people to see. You send out an invisible ink. It's like this star looking thing, I don't know. You swipe it and you see it, and that also works for pictures as well. They also focused a lot on emojis, so if you just send emojis, let's say if you use Facebook Messenger or Snapchat, those emojis are bigger. The same thing will happen in messages. And if you're typing something out like let's go get pizza, then go to the movies, if you select the emoji icon at the bottom, it will highlight things like pizza and movies, and you're able to select those and it'll change the pizza into a pizza emoji and the movie into a moving emoji, because we don't need to learn English. God, the next generation will not know what language is. Siri is also getting an update. Siri is open to developers, so let's say you want to ask Siri, just like how you text people, text so-and-so with this. You're able to do that over Facebook, Snapchat, other apps like that. It is super cool. So Siri is now open to third parties. You can ask it, request an Uber, it will request an Uber to your exact location, and I think that is extremely cool, and we've needed that for a long time. Maps is getting an update. It's a little bit easier to look at. It's able to give you traffic updates while you're en route. If you're getting directions somewhere, you'll be able to see that there is heavy traffic in front of you. Maps is also able to tell you what is near you, so if you're passing by a gas station, it'll be able to alert you. And in Maps, you are also able to request a ride. So you have a route that you've created from your location to, let's say, your house. There's a new section that says request driver. You're able to hit that, and apps like Uber will pop up, and you can request an Uber and pay for your Uber directly in the Maps app. HomeKit is also getting deeply integrated into the iPhone. We are getting a select HomeKit app. That is if you have things like doors that unlock by themselves, lights that turn on, shades that open and close. And you're able to set those to, let's say if you go to bed, you want your shades closed, all the doors locked, you can tell Siri, good night, and it will do all that stuff. Let's say someone's ringing your doorbell and you have a camera on your doorbell, you're able to see who's there and actually let them in depending who they are. Apple Music is getting a needed cleanup. So Apple is completely redesigning from the ground up Apple Music, and I think it's pretty nice from what I've seen. One thing that they're adding that I think is amazing is if you're in the Now Playing, you're able to swipe up and see lyrics for songs. And there's also a dedicated spot in Apple Music that will show you your downloaded music, not music that you have added since you've subscribed to Apple Music. So a new feature that Apple is adding is Raise to Wake. You legitimately just have your phone flat. If you go to raise to look at it, the screen will turn on and you don't have to select anything. Speaking of which, notifications, in iOS 10, notifications have been completely updated. They look amazing and you're able to respond to them right away, and you can get more information by just using Touch ID if you have one of the newer iPhones. Touch ID is something that is being integrated very deeply into iOS, and I like it a lot. It's a very cool feature that I do not have because I'm rocking the 6, but it should be good for future phones. It's just a really cool thing that they're adding, and I'm excited to see what they can do with 3D Touch. QuickType is better at guessing at what you want to say, and also if you're starting to type something that could be an emoji, you can add that emoji in there. Again, Apple with the emojis. And lastly, Apple talked about privacy. Privacy has been a huge thing, and Apple has been talking about it like crazy. They had their little brawl at the FBI, and Apple is showing the users that privacy is one of their number one concerns. Apple is talking about how everything is being double encrypted, and every feature that they're adding is safe and protected, and their information will not get out. And I think that is a super cool thing. So we've seen a bunch of things at WWDC, some that I have not even covered because there are so many things just to take in, and I've probably forgot about it already. I will be getting iOS 10 as a beta in the next coming weeks. I wait a little bit to make sure that I don't brick my phone and it's easier to use. So videos will be coming up about that, about the new betas and what they're changing. So if you want to see more videos about Apple, more videos about iOS 10 and the upcoming betas, or just any video in general, I'm trying to get into just about anything here at YouTube. Hit the subscribe button down below. It truly helps. And also give this video a like if you liked it. And that is it for this video. See you in the next one.